How's it, my fellow creatives? Today I will be highlighting some amazing free and cheaper Adobe tools I think all graphic designers should and could utilize today. Before we get into it, I just want to thank everyone for the support on my very first creative video. You can see the card popping up for it here now, if you want to go look at it. Okay, let's get into the juicy meat of this video. We all know Adobe as being one of the most sought after but also the most expensive when it comes to providing creative tools for creatives. But there are some amazing Adobe tools you can utilize that are free and also cheaper. So imagine that, right? So here they are. First and foremost, before you use these tools, I implore you to make sure you're logged into your Adobe account. This just helps that everything you do syncs up with your account, and also you can add things to your libraries, which is very helpful if you do have Adobe software and you want to get access to the stuff you do here in these tools. Okay, so for the first tool, we have Adobe Color. Adobe Color is pretty much the same as any other color palette website you can find out there, but the great thing about this is if you have Adobe software, this will link up to your account. So essentially, you know, if you have libraries, you can sync up your color palette with it. And the very cool thing about this is even though you have this cool color wheel that gives you different colors and you can pick what you want to pick, and it gives you the hex codes and the RGBs and everything. You can also go through different styles, which is pretty cool. But the cool thing that I would like to highlight is it can extract from themes. So I grabbed this cyberpunk photo, which is really cool. So what you can do here is essentially just color pick from this library or this photo or creative, whatever you have, which is really cool. And then it has these extracted moods, so you can look at what different moods could look like, but at least you still have that flexibility of changing colors as you see fit, which is really cool. Then there's another one, which is the extract gradient. So essentially this creates a gradient for you from the colors that you can pick, which is very handy if you want to make something with gradients. And you can move the gradient around as much as you want, you know, pick your colors, whatever you have. And then the really awesome thing is that I think a lot of designers should start implementing in their designs is accessibility tools. So what's cool about accessibility tools like this is it tells you, you know, if your color palette is accessible for any type of disability that people might have for hearing, seeing, whatever, but in this case it's obviously for seeing. So you can see here it tells you promptly that this color palette fails, and then this one works, and then this one works too. And then you can adjust all these things until you have all three of them passing. And this is a really great tool to play around with that type of thing. And then to get a little bit deeper into this, you can also explore what color palettes there are that's kind of like working for different type of industries, you know, different feelings of color. And then you have trends within different genres of design. So this could help a lot if you want to try and figure out, you know, what colors matches with what is trending right now in the market. So this could be very helpful to create a brand or a social media campaign or whatever you want to create. And then lastly, you have access to your own libraries if you have logged in. So it's just a small introduction to it. I would tell you to go and play around with it and see how it works for your workflow. Then we have the second one, which is Adobe Font. This is one of my favorite ones. I like this quite a bit because not only does it show you, you know, what's trending and what's new releases and you know, the different colors as well, which is pretty cool. You know, you can also go to all fonts, which is just different section, and then you can basically put things in here that relates to you, and you can see how it will affect your type or your copy that you want to use within it. And then if you don't like to see the images, you can change it to just a grid or just a list without the images. Again, the cool thing is you can type out what you want to see. So if you have a specific copy, that you want to see and what it looks like in this font, this is a very cool tool. And then if you're hard of seeing, you can change the text size too. This is really awesome. And then you have different tags, classifications, and properties. So the tags would relate to the style. Classifications is it a serif, sans serif, slab, script, monofont, monotype, whatever you want there. And then you have your properties, which is your width, height, contrast, italics, and all that kind of stuff. So really cool in-depth tool. Okay, so another cool thing that you can do is, I'm just take this cyberpunk image again, and you can drop it in here, right into the landing page, and then it would scan it, and then it will highlight you certain aspects of what you want to see font wise, and then just continue from there. I don't know, let's just type in cyberpunk. Not great results, but most of the time this does work. So I don't know what went wrong here. Maybe it's taking too much. We can try that again. So we're just gonna drop that back in there. Let's go this time with just this Phantom Liberty font. Okay, so it's a much better result. I don't think you'd be able to find the exact font, but most of the time it gives you great options that you can pick from, and not all the time would you want to just copy the font exactly. But it's a great tool to try and get close to what you want to get to. And at the end of the day, if you're a skilled designer, you could just edit the font itself. So that's one cool tool. Really cool. If you haven't used it, get into it. It will help you a lot with your workflow. Okay, so for the next one, this isn't an entirely free thing. This goes into, if you can afford some of the Adobe products, I would employ you to look at something like this, Adobe Express. It's only $12.29 a month in euros. It's probably $12.29 in dollars too. But essentially, you get all of this included into this specific package. But the great thing about this is, instead of buying Photoshop and Illustrator and the whole creative suite, you have this one online product that you can pretty much design anything within. So let's say we wanted to take the cyberpunk thing again as a reference. You can create something new from it, and let's say we want to do a poster out of this. I'm not going to design anything very extravagant right now, because there's more just tips and tricks and tools and stuff like that. But it gives you this environment where you can take something or make something from scratch, with not having to have all of the software for, I think the price now is $64 or something a month. So it's a very cool tool to utilize, and you can play around with some of the stuff they already have in their library. If you wanted to make let's say it's Mexican week, cyberpunk Mexican week, something cool like that. So it's really interesting tool, and it could help you utilize it, especially if you want to do social media stuff. If you want to do something quick and dirty. Obviously, you can go with Canva if you understand how to use the free tool, but ultimately, there's some really cool stuff here, and Adobe is the leader in the creative software space. So all the stuff that's available to you could be very helpful. So yeah, that's pretty much all my tools. I'm sorry, not all of it's free, but at the end of the day, if you can cash out $20 or $12, sorry, then you know this could be a pretty cool to utilize. And with anything, any type of program, as long as you take your time and you delve deep into it, you can get pretty good at and decent at it. So yeah. So with that, I want to take some time just to thank everyone for watching. If you want to work with me, whether you want to collaborate or if you want to work with me as my freelance client or whatever, I am available. Just contact me. I also have an Adobe account. Just look at my description below. All of my contact details are there. I will also be including all the links to these tools and applications in the description below. So if you like my video, please leave me a like and a subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, thank you.